Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more amazing HFY stories. Hit the bell icon to get notified about our latest uploads. In the far reaches of the newly explored sectors of the Orion Arm, a faint distress signal bleeped intermittently, barely caught by the Deep Space Monitoring Station on Luna. Dr. Lena Hart, a renowned xenobiologist stationed at the United Earth Space Agency, UESA, was summoned to analyze the unusual signal. It was weak, but unmistakably artificial, a call for help that could not be ignored. Lena was a middle-aged woman with sharp eyes and an even sharper mind, accustomed to the sterile environments of laboratories and the unpredictable nature of field research in deep space. When the signal was confirmed as non-human, her interest peaked. Alien contact was rare, despite humanity's advanced exploration technologies. The source of the distress call was traced to a crippled spacecraft adrift near the asteroid belt of a resource-depleted system. Lena, along with a small, specialized crew, was dispatched on the recovery ship Perseverance. Their mission was clear: ascertain the situation, provide aid, and recover any alien technology or beings. As Perseverance approached the alien vessel, a sleek, silver craft marred by asteroid collisions and engine failures, the crew prepared for a potential first contact scenario. They docked carefully, establishing a secure connection to board the alien craft. The airlock hissed open, revealing the dimly lit corridors of a ship that smelled of ozone and something sweet and sour, an alien aroma that permeated their suits. Inside, they found the ship largely abandoned. Systems were offline, save for emergency lighting that cast long shadows across the walls. It was eerily silent, each step echoing off the metal floors. The search led them to the central chamber, where they found a single occupant, a young alien female, lying in a stasis pod that flickered with failing power. Her features were delicate, almost human-like, but with translucent skin that shimmered with a light bioluminescence, and her 4 slender arms ended in dexterous, tapered fingers. The medical team, led by Lena, worked quickly to stabilize the pod's life support systems and transfer the alien, whom they designated Eliara, based on the ship's logs, back to Perseverance. During the return journey to Earth, Lena spent hours in the medical bay, observing Eliara's physiology through the stasis pod's transparent dome. The alien's biology was fascinatingly complex, hinting at evolutionary adaptations unknown to Earth-based life forms. Eliara regained consciousness slowly, her bioluminescent skin glowing brighter with each passing hour. Communication was initially a challenge until the UESA linguistics team, using AI-based translation models, deciphered her language from the ship's database. The first clear words Eliara spoke were of gratitude mixed with sadness. Her crew had not survived the asteroid collision, and she was the last of her line, from a planet she described as once vibrant but now lost to cosmic calamity. Her gratitude quickly turned to a somber request. She was terminally ill, a condition exacerbated by her ship's failing life support. Eliara understood her fate and accepted it with a dignity that impressed the crew. However, she had one last wish: to experience a facet of human life she found deeply fascinating, the method of human reproduction. It was an aspect of existential experience that her species, with their asexual reproductive traits, could not fathom. The revelation stirred a complex mix of emotions in Lena. The request was unprecedented, and fulfilling it posed ethical and practical challenges. Yet, there was something profoundly human in honoring a dying being's last wish. The decision couldn't be Lena's alone, it required consultation with Earth's Bioethics Council, and naturally, the situation had to be handled with sensitivity and respect for all life forms involved. As Perseverance entered Earth's orbit, Lena prepared her report, detailing everything from Eliara's rescue and medical condition to her unique request. The world was about to learn of their new visitor, and with it, face questions about life, empathy, and the shared experiences that defined all sentient beings across the universe. Lena looked out of the viewport at the blue marble that was Earth. Despite the countless times she'd seen it, it never failed to inspire a sense of responsibility. She turned, taking one last glance at Eliara, who was now quietly observing the planet, her face an enigmatic mask of wonder and melancholy. Lena knew the coming days would test the boundaries of science and ethics in ways humanity had never before considered. But for now, she felt a deep resolve to do right by this alien whose life had become entwined with their own. As news of Iliara's arrival and her unique request spread, the world buzzed with a mixture of fascination and controversy. Within hours of docking at the International Space Station, Dr. Lena Hart found herself at the center of a whirlwind of media attention, scientific curiosity, and ethical debates. Panels of experts from various fields, xenobiology, ethics, law, and theology, were convened to discuss the implications of Iliara's wish to experience human reproduction. The situation posed unprecedented questions. What does consent look like when dealing with an alien species? How could the risks be managed? And critically, what were the potential ramifications, both biological and philosophical, of acceding to such a request? The Bioethics Council, a body usually concerned with terrestrial dilemmas, found itself deliberating a scenario straight out of a science fiction novel. Meanwhile, Dr. Hart, along with her team, was tasked with maintaining Iliara's health, which was deteriorating faster than anticipated. Iliara's translucent skin had begun to lose its luminescence, a sign of her worsening condition. Her time was running out, adding urgency to the discussions. At public forums, debates raged between those advocating for the fulfillment of Iliara's last wish as a gesture of interstellar empathy and those who saw it as a slippery slope into unethical scientific practices. Social media platforms were abuzz with discussions and polls, with hashtags like #IliaraWish and #HumanAlienRights trending globally. In private, Lena met with Iliara to discuss the various viewpoints and to ensure that Iliara fully understood the human perspective. Using a real-time translation device, they conversed about the complexities of human reproduction, including the emotional and physical aspects involved. "I understand it is much more than a biological process for humans," Iliara said, her voice soft but clear. "For us, reproduction is not bound with feelings. It is survival. But I have read much about human culture, and I see the beauty in your complexity." Lena nodded, touched by Iliara's insight. "It's a big part of what makes us human. But it also makes this decision difficult. There are many who fear the unknown consequences of such an interaction." Iliara's eyes, large and luminescent, reflected a depth of sadness. "I do not wish to cause fear or trouble. I only hope to understand a part of your existence that is so profoundly beautiful." The ethical review continued, with Dr. Hart providing medical and scientific insights. Specialists in xenobiology presented findings on Iliara's physiology, suggesting that while Iliara could theoretically engage in some human-like experiences, the actual reproductive act could not be exactly replicated due to biological incompatibilities. Simultaneously, legal experts explored the ramifications of international law, which had no precedent for such an encounter. Diplomats and representatives from various countries argued for caution, while advocates for alien rights cited the need for compassion and respect for Iliara's sentient autonomy. Amidst these heated discussions, an activist group called the Cosmic Bridge organized rallies supporting Iliara's wish, arguing that denying her this experience was a denial of her rights as a sentient being. Their peaceful demonstrations, held in major cities around the world, drew attention to the broader implications of humanity's encounter with other intelligent life forms. Lena watched the unfolding drama with a mixture of awe and apprehension. The world had never been so united yet so divided over a single extraterrestrial life. She realized that whatever decision was reached, it would set a precedent for future interactions with alien species. After weeks of deliberation, the Bioethics Council reached a decision. They approved a modified version of Iliara's request. She would be allowed to experience aspects of human intimacy and reproduction through a combination of virtual reality and controlled medical procedures that simulated the emotional and physical states associated with human reproduction, without involving another human directly. This solution, they concluded, balanced ethical concerns with compassion, allowing Iliara a glimpse into human experience while maintaining stringent ethical standards. Relieved yet apprehensive, Lena conveyed the decision to Eliara, explaining the planned procedure and what it would entail. Eliara listened intently, her face unreadable. "Thank you, Lena," she finally said, her voice tinged with a mixture of relief and something else, perhaps resignation. "Your people are trying to bridge a gap that is wider than the stars. I am grateful for the chance to see your world as you experience it, even if it's just a shadow of the reality." As preparations began for the unique procedure, Lena felt the weight of the world's eyes on her and her team. This was uncharted territory, scientifically and ethically. But in her heart, she believed that fulfilling Eliara's last wish was a testament to humanity's capacity for empathy and understanding, traits as vital to the future of interstellar relations as any technology. The stage was set, and the world watched as one of the most unusual and poignant chapters in human history unfolded. What began as a rescue mission had evolved into a profound exploration of what it means to be human, and what it means to be truly compassionate to another sentient being. As the decision to fulfill Eliara's modified wish was made public, Dr. Lena Hart and her team began the meticulous preparations for the procedure. The chosen approach, a combination of virtual reality and medical simulation, meant constructing an experience that was both immersive and respectful of Eliara's unique physiology and cultural context. The news of the Bioethics Council's decision had mixed receptions. Academics and philosophers lauded the compassionate compromise, while some factions continued to express their concerns about the ethical implications and the precedents it might set. However, the global spotlight was now focused on the technical and emotional preparation for the procedure, overshadowing the descent. In the high-tech labs of the USA, a team of VR specialists, physicians, and xenobiologists, including Dr. Hart, collaborated to design the simulation. They had to integrate human emotional experiences with tactile feedback that could be interpreted by Eliara's alien sensory organs. Eliara herself contributed to the design, explaining her sensory perceptions and the types of stimuli that were meaningful or pleasant in her culture. Lena spent hours in meetings discussing every detail of the experience. They decided to include simulated scenarios that showcased different aspects of human affection and bonding, ranging from the feeling of a gentle touch, to the warmth of a hug, to the emotional intensity of a loving gaze. The medical team worked on safe ways to stimulate Eliara's nervous system to mimic these sensations without causing her stress or harm. The VR content was crafted to be rich in Earth's natural beauty, scenes of sunsets, oceans, forests, and starry nights, accompanied by soft music, composed to resonate with Eliara's frequency sensitivity, enhancing the emotional depth of each scenario. As preparations continued, Lena often found herself in the medical bay with Eliara, going over the procedures and ensuring she understood and consented to each step. During these sessions, Eliara shared more about her world and its lost beauty, which she described with a poignant nostalgia that Lena found deeply moving. "I have seen your world in images and now, through these discussions," Eliara explained, "it is vibrant and full of life, much like my home once was. This experience you are crafting, though it is not real, it gives me a chance to connect with my past as much as with your present." As the day of the procedure approached, security around the project was tightened. The public's interest had not waned, and debates about the ethical dimensions of the project continued to flare. However, inside the secure facilities of USA, the focus was singular, to ensure the safety and success of the procedure. Lena documented every step, aware of the historical significance of their work. She also prepared a series of post-experience interviews with Eliara, designed to capture her responses and learn from them, enhancing human understanding of alien perceptions and emotions. Finally, the day arrived. The procedure would take place in a specially designed medical suite that had been equipped with advanced VR gear and medical monitoring equipment. Eliara was moved to the suite early in the morning, and Lena was there to greet her. "You are brave," Lena said, as she helped Eliara settle into the equipment that would soon envelop her in a virtual world. Eliara looked at her with a serene smile. "No braver than any of you. Curiosity is the bridge between our worlds, isn't it? Today, I walk that bridge." The procedure began with the gentle hum of machines. Eliara closed her eyes as the VR headset was activated. The screens lit up, and suddenly, she was standing in a virtual forest at dawn, the sky painted with hues of orange and pink. Virtual reality allowed her to see and feel, her sensory pads picked up the vibrations designed to simulate touch, and the scents of the forest were replicated through a controlled release of safe aromatic compounds. Lena and her team monitored Eliara's vital signs, which displayed a range of emotions, wonder, joy, and an overwhelming peace. They watched as she virtually interacted with the environment, touching trees, listening to the simulated sound of birds, and watching the sunrise. Each scenario switched smoothly to the next, a beach, a mountain top under the stars, a peaceful field rich with the scent of flowers. Throughout the experience, Lena remained by Eliara's side, observing her reactions and occasionally adjusting the levels of sensory input. It was a balance of science and art, crafting an experience profound enough to touch a soul from another world. After several hours, the simulation gradually wound down, transitioning to a peaceful evening scene. As the virtual sun set, casting long shadows over the landscape, the equipment was slowly deactivated. The hum of machines faded, and the room returned to silence. Eliara opened her eyes, her bioluminescence softly glowing. She looked at Lena, a tear tracing down her cheek, an expression of profound emotional impact etched across her face. "It was beautiful," she whispered. "Thank you, Lena, for this gift." The team let out a collective breath, relief mixing with their own emotional responses to the success of the simulation. They had done it, they had bridged a gap between species with technology and empathy, providing a dying alien girl with a glimpse into the human experience of connection. In the days that followed, Eliara's health continued to decline, but her spirits remained high, bolstered by her profound experience. Lena prepared for the next phase, knowing that while the physical end was near for Eliara, the legacy of what they had shared would resonate far into the future, shaping interstellar relations and ethical discussions for generations to come. The morning of the procedure dawned clear and cold, the early light filtering through the blinds of the medical suite where Eliara was to undergo her experience. The team gathered, their faces a mix of professional focus and underlying emotion, aware of the gravity and uniqueness of the day's events. Dr. Lena Hart oversaw the final preparations, her demeanor calm but her hands betraying a slight tremor as she checked and rechecked the equipment. The setup for today was more complex than any standard medical procedure. It involved an intricate array of VR equipment, neural stimulators, and biometric monitors, all designed to create a seamless and immersive experience for Eliara. The room had been prepared to ensure comfort and tranquility, with soft lighting and a quiet atmosphere, resembling less a clinical setting and more a place of peaceful reflection. Eliara, for her part, appeared serene, though her luminescent skin occasionally flickered with faint, shimmering waves, indicative of her nervous system's fluctuating responses. She had been briefed thoroughly and had consented to every detail of the planned experience. Now, as she lay on the bed, fitted with the VR headset and neural interfaces, she gave Lena a small, reassuring smile. "It is time, then." Eliara's voice was soft, her accent lilting strangely through the translation device. Lena nodded, squeezing Eliara's hand gently. "Yes, we're ready if you are." "As ready as one can be for such a journey," Eliara replied, a hint of wistfulness in her tone. With a final check of the monitors, Lena signaled to her team to begin. The room quieted, the only sound the soft hum of machinery as the VR simulation initiated. On the screens, Lena and her team could see what Eliara was experiencing, a simulation of a beautiful, lush earth environment, complete with sensory inputs that mimicked the natural world. Eliara's initial encounter in the virtual world was with a gentle rain shower in a vibrant forest. The team had integrated real-world sounds and scents, which were reproduced to interact seamlessly with the visual input. Raindrops created rhythmic sounds as they hit the leaves, and the fresh, earthy scent of rain-soaked soil filled the air. Through neural stimulation, Eliara could feel the coolness of the water and the softness of the ground underfoot, experiences she had expressed curiosity about during the preparation phase. As the scene shifted, Eliara found herself standing by a serene lake at sunset. The sky blazed with hues of orange and purple, and the sound of water lapping gently at the shore played soothingly. Here, the simulation introduced the feeling of a light breeze, the warmth of the sun's fading rays, and the tranquil sound of distant bird calls. This peaceful scenario was designed to evoke a sense of deep connection with the environment, a prelude to the more complex emotional simulations to come. Next, the simulation transitioned to a social scenario, a gathering around a campfire with a small group of people. The figures were virtual, but their interactions were deeply human, smiles, laughter, conversations about memories, and shared dreams. Eliara, observing and interacting from the first-person perspective, was introduced to concepts of friendship and love, emotions tied closely with human social and reproductive behaviors. The emotional peak of the experience was a carefully crafted intimate moment, designed to embody a profound connection between two people. The setting was a quiet beach under the stars, the sounds of the ocean waves providing a rhythmic backdrop. Here, Eliara experienced a dance with a partner, an expression of human romantic and sensual connection. The neural stimulators worked to convey the emotions of closeness, warmth, and affection, complex feelings that Eliara had never encountered in her own species. Throughout the procedure, Lena monitored Eliara's physiological responses closely. The alien's vitals were stable, but there were fluctuations in her bioluminescent patterns, which they had learned to interpret as expressions of emotional depth. Eliara was deeply engaged, her entire being responding to the simulations with what could only be described as a mixture of joy and melancholy. After several hours, as the virtual dawn began to break over the beach, signaling the end of the experience, the simulation gradually wound down. The sounds faded, the visual input dimmed, and the sensory stimuli receded, leaving Eliara lying quietly as the equipment was gently removed. The room was silent as Eliara opened her eyes, the lingering traces of bioluminescence slowly fading from her skin. She looked at Lena, and though no words were spoken initially, the profound impact of the experience was palpable in her gaze. "It was more beautiful than I could have imagined," Eliara finally whispered, her voice trembling with emotion. "To feel so much, so deeply, it is a gift I could never have anticipated." Lena took Eliara's hand, her own eyes moist with tears. "I'm glad we could share that with you," she replied softly. As Eliara rested, recovering from the intensity of her experiences, Lena and her team began to process the data collected during the procedure. They had not only provided an alien being a glimpse into humanity but had also gained invaluable insights into the emotional and physiological responses of an entirely different sentient species. In the days that followed, as the global community watched and waited, the story of Eliara's journey through human emotion and connection would spark new conversations about the potential for understanding and empathy across the boundaries of worlds. The ethical debates continued, but now tempered with a new perspective on what it means to truly connect across the stars. In the days following the procedure, Eliara's health continued to deteriorate, a fact that lent a quiet urgency to her remaining time. However, the profound experience she had undergone seemed to infuse her with a new sense of peace and contemplation. Dr. Lena Hart and her team respected these quiet moments, giving Eliara space to process her experience, yet they remained close to monitor her condition and provide comfort. The world outside the medical suite continued to buzz with discussions about Eliara's journey into human emotions and sensations. Academics and philosophers delved into debates about consciousness and the ability of different species to understand each other on such a deep emotional level. Meanwhile, the public's fascination with Eliara's story grew, humanizing the alien visitor in ways that transcended the initial fear and skepticism. Lena organized a series of interviews with Eliara, intended to document her reflections on the virtual reality experience and gather insights into her perceptions. These sessions were intimate, with Eliara speaking softly but with clarity about what she had felt during the simulation. It was like waking into a dream, Ilyara began, her luminous eyes thoughtful. In my world, emotions are subdued, practical. We do not have bonds formed by love or friendship as you do. Our connections are of need and survival. What I felt during the simulation, joy, sorrow, love, it was overwhelming, but enlightening. Lena listened, recording every word while noting the subtle flickers of bioluminescence that still occasionally danced across Ilyara's skin. Did any part of the experience stand out to you more than others? She asked gently. Ilyara paused, considering. The moment by the lake at sunset, she replied. There was a profound sense of peace there. I felt a connection to everything, the water, the sky, even the virtual people around me. It was as if I could feel the life in everything. It's something I've never felt before. These reflections were invaluable to Lena and her team, providing a window into an alien mind experiencing human-like emotions for the first time. They suggested that despite the differences between their species, there was a universal thread of emotional experience that could be shared and understood across the cosmos. The implications of these findings were profound, sparking discussions within the scientific community about the potential for empathy and understanding between humans and alien species. Publications and forums buzzed with theories and hypotheses, inspired by Ilyara's experiences. As interest grew, Lena was invited to speak at several international conferences, where she presented preliminary findings from the project. The responses were overwhelmingly positive, with many in the scientific community praising the ethical handling and the depth of insight gained from the experience. Meanwhile, Ilyara's condition worsened, and she became more reflective, spending long hours looking out at the earth from her room's large window. She often asked Lena to sit with her during these times, and they would talk about everything from human culture to Ilyara's own memories of her home planet. I have learned so much about your people, Ilyara said during one of these sessions. You cherish life and relationships so deeply. It gives you strength, doesn't it? Lena nodded, feeling the weight of Ilyara's words. It does. Relationships and emotions can be sources of great joy and great pain, but they are at the core of what many of us consider to be a meaningful life. Ilyara smiled faintly. I will carry these lessons with me, she murmured. In the time I have left, I find myself less afraid, knowing that I have touched the heart of another world. As the end of Ilyara's earthly journey approached, preparations began for her final days. The team wanted to ensure that her last moments were as comfortable and dignified as possible. Discussions about posthumous honors and memorials started to take place, focusing on how best to preserve Ilyara's legacy and the lessons she had shared. One of the most significant decisions was the establishment of a scholarship fund in Ilyara's name, aimed at supporting students in xenobiology and interspecies communications. Lena also worked with a team of artists and VR developers to create an interactive experience based on Ilyara's journey, allowing others to witness the beauty and emotional depth of the simulations she had experienced. Through all these preparations, Lena remained a constant presence by Ilyara's side, often joined by other team members who had grown close to the alien visitor. They shared stories, watched Earth's sunsets together, and on clearer nights, stargazed. In these quiet, shared moments, the barriers between human and alien seemed to dissolve, leaving behind a profound connection, a testament to the project's success in bridging two vastly different species through the power of shared emotional experience. As Ilyara's final day arrived, the team gathered around her, not only as scientists and caretakers but as friends who had journeyed with her through the profound exploration of life and connection. Ilyara's parting words were of gratitude and hope, a gentle encouragement for those she left behind to continue seeking understanding and peace across the stars. Her passing was peaceful, and in the silence that followed, Lena felt a deep sense of privilege and responsibility. Ilyara's journey had changed them all, challenging them to think differently about life, connection, and the potential for empathy across the cosmos. The legacy of her journey would live on, inspiring future generations to look to the stars not just with curiosity, but with compassion and a readiness to connect. As the reality of Ilyara's impending departure settled over the team, a collective sense of solemnity and reflection permeated the air. Dr. Lena Hart found herself at the forefront of organizing Iliara's final days, ensuring they were filled with dignity and respect for the alien who had touched so many lives. In her quiet moments, Lena thought deeply about how best to honor Iliara and her wishes. It was Iliara who had suggested a simple, yet profound way to say goodbye. She wanted her last moments to be shared not just with those at the medical facility but with anyone around the world who wished to partake in her journey. This would be facilitated through a live broadcast, allowing people globally to participate in a universal farewell. Lena and her team set to work, arranging the details of the broadcast, which was to include tributes from various people who had interacted with Iliara, including scientists, diplomats, and representatives from different cultures and religions. They all shared a common admiration for Iliara's courage and her willingness to bridge the gap between her world and Earth. The physical preparations for her final day were meticulous. Iliara's room was transformed into a serene space, decorated with items that had become meaningful to her during her stay, images of Earth landscapes, abstract art created by children who had sent them as gifts from around the world, and a large window overlooking the vast expanse of space. Music, a universal language that had deeply moved Iliara, played softly in the background. The playlist was a mix of gentle Earth compositions and adaptations of Iliara's planet's melodies, reconstructed from her descriptions, a fusion that symbolized the blending of two worlds. As the day approached, Lena took the time to sit with Iliara, discussing her thoughts and any last messages she wished to share with the world. Iliara spoke of her appreciation for the Earth's beauty, the depth of human emotion, and the kindness that had been shown to her. She expressed hope that her journey would encourage more open, compassionate interactions between different beings in the cosmos. "I have been a bridge, in my small way," Iliara said, her voice weak but filled with conviction. "And perhaps that is the best any of us can hope to be, a connection between the known and the unknown." The global broadcast began with a brief introduction by Lena, who shared the story of Iliara's discovery and the significant moments of her time on Earth. She spoke of the scientific breakthroughs and the profound ethical discussions that Iliara's presence had spurred. Following Lena's introduction, the broadcast featured a series of speakers, each reflecting on the impact of meeting Iliara and what it meant for humanity's place in the universe. Scientists discussed the advancements in understanding alien physiology and psychology, while philosophers and ethicists debated the future implications of interspecies relationships. As the time drew near, the room where Iliara rested was filled with those who had been closest to her during her stay. The atmosphere was one of calm and profound respect, a shared silent acknowledgement of the significance of the moment. Iliara, surrounded by friends from another world, took a moment to speak her final words, broadcasted live to all who were watching. She thanked Earth for its hospitality and marveled at the beauty and complexity of human experiences. She encouraged all to look beyond their fears and to seek understanding and peace with all beings, regardless of their origins. "I leave now," Iliara concluded, "with a heart full of memories of this beautiful world and its people. Carry forward the spirit of curiosity and compassion that brought us together. Let it be your guide." As the broadcast ended, the medical team gently administered the euthanasia process. Iliara's passing was peaceful, her final breaths a whisper in the quiet room, her luminescence slowly fading until all that was left was a gentle glow, like the last flicker of a sunset. In the aftermath, the world mourned, but there was also a deep sense of gratitude and awe for the journey that had been shared. Memorials were held in various parts of the world, where people gathered to honor Iliara's memory and the lessons she had imparted. Lena, though deeply grieved, felt a profound responsibility to ensure that Iliara's legacy would continue. She worked with others to establish a permanent exhibit in a major museum, dedicated to Iliara and the future exploration of interspecies understanding. The exhibit would not only tell Iliara's story but also serve as an educational resource on the ethics and possibilities of future alien-human interactions. Iliara's impact would live on, in the minds and hearts of those who had followed her story, and in the continuing endeavors of those who believed in the value of reaching across the cosmos to find common ground. Her life, though far from her home planet, had changed the course of human understanding forever. The global mourning for Eliera transformed into a celebration of her life and the unprecedented bridge she had formed between her world and Earth. Dr. Lena Hart found herself at the center of planning a dignified ceremony that would both honor Eliera's final wishes and serve as a public expression of Earth's gratitude. In collaboration with international leaders, artists, and communities, Lena helped orchestrate a memorial service that would take place simultaneously in multiple locations around the world, each connected live to ensure a shared experience. The main event was set in a large public park, chosen for its natural beauty and tranquility, a setting Eliera would have appreciated. As the day of the ceremony arrived, people from all walks of life gathered, their faces marked by a blend of sadness and admiration. Screens placed around the venue would carry the live feeds from other locations, creating a tapestry of global unity. The service was to feature speeches, artistic performances, and readings from various cultural and philosophical texts, a reflection of the diversity of humanity and the unity brought about by Eliera's visit. Lena, wearing a simple dress that mirrored the serene elegance of the setting, took the stage to open the ceremony. Her voice, steady yet emotional, carried across the silent crowd. Today, we gather not only to mourn the loss of a remarkable being but to celebrate the profound connections she fostered among us, Lena began. Eliera taught us more than we could have imagined, about courage, about curiosity, and about the capacity for understanding across the vastness of space. Following Lena's introduction, a young poet recited a piece written specifically for Eliera, capturing her journey in the emotional impact of her final wish. The poem spoke of stars, of distant worlds, and the shared heartbeat of the universe, highlighting the common desires for understanding and peace that transcend planetary boundaries. The ceremony included a moment of silence, during which the attendees were encouraged to reflect on their own experiences of connection and loss, resonating with Eliera's message of peace and understanding. This was followed by a montage of video messages from people around the globe, sharing how Eliera's story had touched their lives, encouraging ongoing dialogue and exploration between different cultures and species. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the gathering, a renowned cellist performed a hauntingly beautiful melody composed in Eliera's memory. The music, with its deep, resonant tones and melancholic undertones, seemed to speak directly to the soul, evoking a sense of cosmic wonder and poignant farewell. In the final part of the ceremony, Lena returned to the stage to unveil a symbolic gesture that would mark Eliera's lasting impact. A statue of Eliera, looking up to the stars, was revealed. The statue was placed in the park, serving as a permanent reminder of her visit and the lessons she imparted. The statue stands as a beacon of hope and a call to keep our minds and hearts open to the unknown, Lena explained. Let it remind us that the universe is not just vast and mysterious, but also filled with potential for unexpected friendships and new understandings. As the ceremony concluded, the participants were invited to walk past the statue, each leaving a white flower at its base, a symbol of peace and new beginnings. The path to the statue was lined with candles, illuminating the way with gentle light, reflecting the bioluminescence of Eliera's own being. After the public had departed, Lena stood alone by the statue, the pile of white flowers growing at its feet. She looked up at the stars, now emerging in the night sky, and felt a deep connection to Eliera, wherever her spirit might now reside. The grief was still there, raw and real, but so was a profound sense of purpose. Lena knew that the work was not done. Eliera's legacy would continue to inspire future generations. Plans were already underway to establish a series of lectures and scholarships in Eliera's name, focused on the ethics of interspecies interaction and the exploration of space. In her heart, Lena felt a renewed commitment to pursue these goals, driven by the memory of Eliera's gentle wisdom and her final, beautiful gift to humanity. She whispered into the night, "Thank you, Eliera, for everything." Turning away from the statue, Lena walked back towards the gathering area where the last of the attendees were leaving, her mind already turning towards the future. Eliera had opened a door, showing humanity a glimpse of what could be possible when different beings meet with open hearts and minds. It was now up to Lena and her contemporaries to continue that journey, exploring, learning, and reaching across the stars for new connections, driven by the legacy of the alien girl who had come to Earth with a wish that changed the world. In the weeks and months following the memorial, the world slowly adjusted to the absence of Eliara, but her influence remained palpable. Dr. Lena Hart, reinvigorated by the global response to Eliara's journey, spearheaded several initiatives to ensure that the lessons learned from their encounter with Eliara would not fade into obscurity. The first major project was the establishment of the Eliara Foundation, dedicated to fostering interspecies understanding and supporting research in xenobiology and interspecies ethics. Funded by both public donations and grants from various scientific organizations, the foundation quickly became a hub for scholars, ethicists, and explorers eager to delve into the complexities of communicating and interacting with non-human intelligences. Lena also worked closely with educational institutions to develop a curriculum that included studies on alien cultures, emphasizing the importance of empathy in ethical engagement. These courses aimed to prepare future generations for the potential realities of a universe populated with diverse sentient beings, using Eliara's story as a case study for successful, compassionate interspecies interaction. To further honor Eliara's memory, an annual lecture series was launched, featuring talks by leading thinkers in the fields of astrobiology, ethics, and interstellar diplomacy. The inaugural lecture was given by Lena herself, who shared detailed insights into her personal experiences with Eliara, discussing the profound impact of their interspecies communication and the emotional and scientific breakthroughs that ensued. Moreover, the interactive VR experience that recreated Eliara's sensory journey on Earth was made available globally, allowing people to witness firsthand the emotional and physical sensations Eliara had during her final days. This VR experience, hosted in museums and educational centers, served as a powerful tool for cultivating a deeper understanding of Eliara's world and the potential for empathy across species. The initiative that perhaps most closely captured the spirit of Eliara's wishes was the creation of an interspecies communication research facility, named Eliara's Nexus. Here, scientists and researchers worked on developing technologies and methodologies for facilitating communication between humans and any future alien species they might encounter. The facility was a testament to the hopeful outlook that mutual understanding between different life forms was not only possible but necessary for a harmonious universe. Lena often visited Eliara's Nexus, finding solace and inspiration in the ongoing work. She saw it as a living monument to Eliara's legacy, a place where the alien girl's dream of understanding and connection continued to grow and evolve. In her quieter moments, Lena wrote a book titled Bridging Stars, Eliara's Legacy, which became a bestseller. The book detailed the extraordinary circumstances of Eliara's arrival, her life on Earth, and the global impact of her story. It also explored the broader implications of her visit for human understanding of the cosmos and the ethical considerations of future interspecies encounters. As the years passed, Eliara's story became a cornerstone of human-alien interaction protocols, influencing policies and preparations for future contacts. Conferences, workshops, and symposiums on interstellar relations often referenced her case, using it as a guideline for approaching encounters with respect, curiosity, and openness. Lena, now regarded as a pioneer in the field of interspecies relations, continued to advocate for the principles she and Eliara had championed. Her career was a testament to the power of one life to affect many, and she dedicated herself to ensuring that the dialogue between different worlds, initiated by a dying alien girl's last wish, would not be forgotten. As the anniversary of Eliara's passing approached, a global event was organized to celebrate her life and the enduring legacy of her visit. People from all corners of the Earth, and some from the space colonies, gathered to share stories, art, music, and ideas inspired by Eliara. The event was both a reflection on how far humanity had come in its understanding of the universe and a reaffirmation of its commitment to continue the journey Eliara had sparked. Under the stars, Lena spoke to the gathered crowd, her voice echoing the same themes she had addressed years before. Eliara showed us that the vastness of space can be bridged by the simple act of reaching out with an open heart. Let us continue to reach out, to explore, and to connect. Let her legacy remind us that our place in the cosmos is not just as explorers or scientists, but as ambassadors of peace and understanding. The ceremony concluded with the unveiling of a new art installation, a beautiful, interactive light sculpture that used motion sensors to create patterns of light and color mimicking Iliara's bioluminescence. It was a symbol of her light continuing to inspire and guide humanity on its path through the stars. Iliara's story, though rooted in her final days on Earth, had sown seeds that would grow across generations, influencing countless lives and shaping the future of human interaction with the cosmos. Through Lena's efforts and the ongoing work of the Iliara Foundation, her wish for understanding lived on, a beacon of hope and connection in the search for our place among the stars. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. For more exciting HFY stories. Your support means the world to us. And make sure to tap the bell icon, so you never miss an update. Stay tuned for our next adventure, and until then, keep exploring the stars. See you in the next video.